Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Kayla Smith, CEO of the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L Society, a woman's health hub for fertility, hormones, and the business of coaching, creator of the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L method, an infertility warrior, two-time boy mom, and women's health expert. This podcast is for women struggling with infertility, painful periods, terrible PMS, or really any symptom of hormone imbalance that they are ready to eliminate for good. Tune in weekly because we will be interviewing amazing experts in the field of women's health, breaking down those hormone walls, nerding out on nutrition, and having way too much fun. Whether you're just beginning your fertility journey or you've been struggling for years, we are going to finally help you put those pieces of your hormone puzzle back together so that you can get pregnant and eliminate those pesky symptoms for good. Are you ready? Thank you so much for tuning in. Now let's get started on your road to transformation. Hey, gorgeous. Welcome back to the show. I am so excited to have you here. Each week, we're going to talk to some amazing experts and really dive into topics all around fertility. So you're not going to want to miss a single show. If you haven't already, take a minute and hit that subscribe button. That will ensure that you never miss a single episode. So we'll take 1 second. We can wait. Hit that button and make sure you're all set. Also, I would be forever grateful if you would leave us a review on iTunes. This will help more people find this show, and it will allow us to help even more women on their journeys with fertility and hormones. And this is how iTunes decide who is shown what. So this way you can do your part to help the infertility community, and it would make me so very excited. So thank you. I would be forever grateful if you would do that for me. Thanks, gorgeous. And now let's get on with the show. This podcast is brought to you by Keep Me Safe Worldwide, a non-toxic and safe beauty and skincare company whose mission is to keep you and your family safe from toxic ingredients and harsh chemicals that infiltrate our beauty industry. What you put on and around your body and in your home is just as important as what you eat. Your skin is your body's largest organ, and these chemicals greatly affect and disrupt your endocrine system, which is a huge factor in your body's ability to conceive and lead an illness and disease-free life with balanced hormones, less hormonal symptoms, and boosted fertility. To learn more about their wide range of products, from lotions to deodorants, skincare, and makeup, or to place an order, visit my.keepmesafeworldwide.com/Coach Kayla. This will also be in the show notes. Ali Prato is a Brooklyn-based journalist and mom of two. Ali, who went through IVF herself, talks to women and some men about the messy, frustrating, painful, heartbreaking, absurd, and sometimes hilarious journey to have a baby on her podcast, Infertile AF, or in some cases to not have a baby. Each episode tells a different story, getting real about miscarriages, egg freezing, sperm donors, adoption, infertility depression, secondary infertility, surrogacy, endometriosis, IUIs, acupuncture, nutrition, relationship drama, embryonic genetic testing, money issues, that crazy jealousy you feel when you see someone else's baby bump, and so much more. We'll cover the happy endings, the soul-crushing sad ones, and the ones still in limbo. Let's welcome Ali to our show. Hey, Ali, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm totally honored.
Yes, I'm so excited to get to talk to you today.
Yes, I know. Claire has been talking about you nonstop and just loves you. So I'm so glad that we could spend some time too.
Yes, I love it. So, well, tell me a little bit more about you and, kind of what you do and who you are.
Okay, so I am a journalist and I live in Brooklyn. I'm from Chicago originally, but I live in Brooklyn now, and I've been in New York since 2003. I was in magazines when I moved here, so I've always been a writer and a storyteller. And I moved here for a job in 2003, and now I'm like doing more freelance stuff because magazines are unfortunately not as, huge as they used to be. But I have 2 kids. My daughter will be 11 actually tomorrow, and my son is 4.5. So we have a 6.5-year spread, which brings me to the topic of today, which is my secondary infertility. So
yes.
I can give you the kind of the spiel of everything that I went through. But so basically, my husband and I are high school sweethearts. We started dating when we were 16, which sounds so nerdy, and we hate that. But we always have to qualify it by saying, but we went to 2 different colleges and we dated other people because we don't want it to ever seem like we were never with anybody else. So we ended up getting married, and then it's funny because we were in Chicago, and at the end of our 20s, all of our friends were starting to have kids, and we weren't quite ready yet. And then I had this big move to New York from Chicago. So we moved for my work, and we didn't really know anybody. So we were like, we can't have kids now. Like, we need to get our, stuff together. We need to figure out the city. Like, we didn't know. We have to find our community and find our friends and get our jobs in order. So we put off having kids. And I think that it's funny because I think if I had stayed in Chicago and had kids around this time that all of my friends from college did, I wouldn't have run into the infertility problems that I did, because mine was basically ended up being age related.
Wow.
So we moved to New York, didn't start to try until I was like 34 for our first kid. And I've said this before, and I sound like a total twit, but I didn't know anything about egg reserve, egg quality, how it diminishes as you get older. I had never learned that, and nobody ever really talked to me about it. And not to play a victim role, but it was just wasn't in the conversation. So, I did end up getting pregnant pretty easily at 34, couple months after we started trying. And I had a, normal, healthy pregnancy, thankfully. Had my daughter when I was 35. And again, we were okay, well, now we have 1 kid. We can't start to try for a second one because we need to figure this out. We live in Brooklyn. We don't even have a car. How are we going to have 2 children in this, city? Yeah. So, point being that we didn't start to try for the second one until I was 37 and a half. And again, not thinking there would be anything wrong. There was no infertility issues in my family. I have a mom and a sister, and they both had, my mom had 2 kids. My sister had 2 daughters, no problems. But when Vince, my husband, and I started to try, I did get pregnant easily again. And then I had a miscarriage. And that happened 4 times.
Oh, so my goodness.
4 back-to-back miscarriages over the course of 3 years. It wasn't month, it was, they were spaced out. And that was devastating.
Yeah.
Again, didn't really know why. I wasn't going to an RE, in the beginning. My OBGYN was just I remember at one point, I think I was having my 2nd miscarriage, and I called my OBGYN's office, and I was I'm newly pregnant, but I'm really bleeding. And whoever was on the phone, I think it was a nurse or something, was just yeah, sounds like you're having a miscarriage. So give it days, and just totally brushed it off.
Oh my God.
Devastating.
What?
So they're just, there wasn't a lot of support around. I had, obviously friends that I could talk to, but there wasn't an Instagram community. Instagram wasn't really a thing. This is probably in 2010, 2011. It was kind of just getting going. But I remember going to a bookstore at one point and looking, because I was dying for connection. I was I can talk to my friends about this a little bit, but I don't know anybody who's had multiple miscarriages. I have a lot of friends who had 1. And I remember going to the Barnes and Noble bookstore in Union Square in New York, and looking for miscarriage books. And there was like a section like an inch thick with like two little kind of pamphlets, and they were very like clinical. And I was like, are you kidding me? This is all that's out there right now? So I went online and, Googled and found some, but it was all like self-published. And I was like, nobody's talking about this. This is wild. So, as I was going through it, I started getting more and more depressed. The thing with secondary infertility is that it's tricky because, a lot of people are like, well, but you already have a kid. Like, why are you?
I hate that.
Yeah, I know.
Awful.
A lot of people that have gone through it say that. And what I was trying to explain to people, and I don't know if I've ever fully been able to articulate it, but I try my best. And it was just like, I love being a mom so much, and I love my daughter so much that it wasn't that she wasn't enough. It was that I wanted to do it again. Like I wanted that I wanted that bigger family. I wanted another kid. I wanted to have a newborn again and be pregnant again and all the things again because I loved it.
And it hurts just as bad whether you're doing it once or a second time. I mean, it's still loss. It's still the inability to do something that you should be able to do naturally. So it makes me so mad when people say that. I'm like, no, you don't get it.
There weren't a lot of people that said that, but there was a couple people in my life that were just like, why don't you just be happy with what you have? And it just kind of was like a knife to the heart because it was like, I am happy. You don't understand. Like, and like I just said, that's why I wanted more because I love being a mom. It's my favorite thing in the whole world is being a mom.
Me too.
Is it?
I love it. Yeah, it's the best.
The best. So anyway, we kept trying, and I kept having these losses. And another side note is that, it really did a number on my relationship with my husband because, he was totally down with having another kid and wanted to, but he didn't have that like guttural need, that like incessant desire that like I couldn't shake it. Like I was like laser focused, and I just didn't feel complete, and I didn't feel like I wanted to just throw in the towel. Like I felt like it needed to happen, and it was going to happen. I just had to like keep trying different things. So this is the point where I was like trying like acupuncture, like all the things, like acupuncture, any app I could find that tracked stuff, obviously ovulation kits, drinking like these elixirs, that like go online. Like I remember going to Chinatown and getting this bag of herbs, and they were like brown and it tasted like dirt, and I would like choke down this tea like ounces and ounces like every day. And it was just like, what else can I try? I would have done anything. And I still hadn't gone to an RE, which is interesting because again, I just didn't know really what I was doing. So finally I did talk to somebody, a friend of a friend who had gone through IVF, and she's like, you know what, I had this great doctor, just go see him and see what's happening, and maybe you have to do IVF. And I remember bringing it up to my husband, and he was like, what? No, we just didn't know anything about it. And again, I've said this before and it makes me sound like a total idiot, but I was like, I thought IVF was for people that like wanted multiples or like, it was like a choice. I didn't realize it was tied to a disease and, and something's wrong and you have to go that route. You don't want to go that route. I thought it was optional. So, we were not in a good place in our relationship because we were fighting all the time. I was super depressed, hiding it, of course, in front of my daughter. Like whenever I was with her, it was healthy and happy and normal. But then we'd like drink wine at night. I'd be like, like stop. It finally got to the point where I was like, well, I want to go talk to this reproductive endocrinologist. And my husband's like, I'm not going. And I was like, okay. So I went by myself. And the doctor that I met is actually the doctor I ended up working with, Dr. Joshua Klein. He's awesome. And he said to me, he did a sonogram and he was like, you're a perfect candidate for IVF. He wasn't being like salesy at all, but he was like, you've got a really good, like healthy egg quality. I remember he was like, you're kind of an egg superstar. But he's like, we need to find the healthy one. They're not all healthy. So like I had a lot, but I didn't have a lot of healthy ones. And he said, that's what I do. I find the healthy one. I mix it with your husband's sperm. And, you know, it usually, or I don't know if he said it usually works, but, you know, it could work.
Yeah.
So I left that meeting being like, oh my God, we're doing IVF. It's going to happen. And then when I got home, my husband's like, how much does it cost? And I showed him the sheet and he was like, you know, like out of a cartoon, like his eyes popped out and his jaw dropped to the floor. And I was like, no way. Paying $5,000 plus because none of it was covered by insurance for us. And I was like, I remember we got into a huge fight because I was like, how could you put a price tag on our future child? And I see it from both points of view. But of course, in the moment, I thought I was completely right. And, you know, it was just, it's so hard. And I know that the finances are a huge barrier for a lot of people. And I feel for them because I've been there and I get it. And a lot of people don't end up, you know, pursuing their parental dreams because they can't financially, and that breaks my heart. But you know, I think it took like a summer for us to kind of for him to come on board with doing the IVF. And I was like, why don't we just try it once? We don't have to get into this pattern of like, you know, we'll be happy. And I was also going to therapy at the time, which was a huge help because my therapist was great and she helped me shift my perspective and realize that if we were going to be a family of 3, it was going to be okay. You know, I kind of came around to that mindset where it was like, okay. But I do remember thinking, and again, back to secondary infertility, the thing that was so hard to explain was like, I was like kind of like ruining my marriage, super depressed. And it like part of me was like, why don't you just stop? You're doing, you know, you're making it terrible by wanting this so badly. And then I was like, but I can't stop wanting it. And that was like an internal conflict, you know. I'm getting choked up because I remember that. It was so hard because I was like, I remember thinking, I wish I didn't want this so badly. But I did, and I had to like listen to my heart, you know. So I finally got my husband on board for the 1 round of IVF, and in total transparency, we had to borrow money from my parents and his parents because we just didn't have the financial means to do it out of pocket. So we agreed to do 1 round, and then we were like, okay, if this doesn't work, that's it. You know, family 3, moving on. But I knew in the back of my mind, like, we could move on and it would be fine. But I was like, but I'm always going to be a little bit sad. You know, like, I think the thing with infertility is like, it never leaves you, like, just so hard. So, anyway, we did end up agreeing to do the 1 round, and it was in April of 2015. So how old was I? I was like 40.
Wow.
Yeah. And, I went in and we did the retrieval, and I think I got 29 eggs.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Wow. And I remember thinking like, oh, this is awesome. Like, no brainer. We did it. And then they quickly dropped off to like 13.
Oh, wow.
And dropped down again to maybe like 9. And then we ended up with 5 embryos that we had tested. I think it was called PGS testing at the time. And they keep changing. It's like PGD, PGS, but genetically tested.
Yeah.
So we had those tested, and we got their test results back, and there was only 1 that was healthy.
Wow.
So we had 1 healthy embryo. We didn't find out what the sex was, the gender. My doctor was great, like, all along. I mean, this is a different podcast for a different day, but he was really great in that I felt like he was my partner in the whole thing, and that he was very accessible. Like, I would email him constantly and be like, am I allowed to have sex on blah, blah, blah day? Or I just went for a really strenuous hike and now I'm freaking out. You know, like, just little things that, like, and he would respond and be like, you're fine. Drink the glass of wine. You know, like, he would just like talk me through it. Cause again, like, I didn't really have the like Instagram community or like people that I could bounce it off of. So I was going to him constantly. Anyway, so we did the transfer on April 1st, 2015. And then we went on vacation, which was just like happenstance. It worked out really well that we went to Florida to see my in-laws. So I was there for most of the 2-week wait. And then when I got back, I went in for the blood test. I'm not an early tester. I was like, I'm doing everything by the book. I don't want to take a home test because I was terrified that it was going to be either a false negative or a false positive. Like I was like, I just don't want, to go down that road after all we've been through. So I went in and I remember they took my blood and it was like 6 a.m. and the nurse was like, okay, so go home and take a nap and we'll call you like around 3. And I was like, I'm like, nap?
No way.
Crazy? So I went home and I tried to lay down and relax and the day had just dragged, like waiting till 3 o'clock. And then they finally called and I remember she said, congratulations, you're pregnant. And another crazy thing though is that they didn't give me like a beta number like they do now.
Yeah. Wow.
Everybody, always has the boards up with their first beta and their second beta. They didn't give me a number. They just said, you're pregnant. And I was like, oh my God. I remember dropping the phone and like bursting into tears. And she said, call us when you deliver. And that was kind of it.
Okay.
I went back in for a few follow-up appointments, or maybe I didn't. I don't remember. It's funny because some of this stuff you just block out because it's too intense,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got tremendously lucky.
Yeah. And that's now your son, right? Who's 4?
My son, who was born in December of that year, and he's 4.5. And, he did complete our family. And every single day I look at him and I say to him, I still can't believe you're here.
Yeah.
Usually when I'm tucking him in. And when he was a little baby, of course, he didn't know what I was saying. But now that he's 4.5, he started with the cutest response and it makes me cry. It started a couple months ago. So I'll say, I still can't believe you're here. And he goes, Mom, I'm always here.
Oh. I just love that age. I have a 4-year-old too who was at 40 years old naturally after infertility issues. And he is just, I still look at him and I say the same. I'm like, I can't believe I have these 2 beautiful children when I thought I never could. So yeah.
How old is your other one? Older?
So I had one at 37 after 2 years of unexplained infertility and the second one at 40. Okay. So I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I do this. That's why I have this platform, because 7 years ago, nobody was talking about this. I had no friends. My husband
with you. I wish I'd known you at the time.
Yeah, my husband was just like your husband. He was like, we're not doing IUI. We're not doing IVF. If it doesn't work naturally, then we're not having kids. And I was like, what? No, I'm not taking that. Yeah.
I agree with you. I did forget to say, we did 2 IUIs in there before we started IVF, but
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. And, talking about platforms, that's why I started my podcast last year, which is called Infertile AF, because as a journalist, I was like, no one's telling these stories. And it originally started as a book idea. And I wrote a book proposal and I shopped it around and I was looking for an agent. I had all these meetings and every single person, which blows my mind, was like, we love your voice. We love your writing. Super entertaining, but it's not going to sell.
What?
These kind of books don't sell. So many people said this market isn't big. Like we're not going to make money on this book, which is funny.
That's crazy. I would self-publish that puppy. That's what I did with mine.
That's the eventual plan and how I have all this other stuff going on. But yeah, so it was funny because it was just like, I was like, really? But I know there's millions of women and men out there like me that could benefit from this. And you know what? There are books out there now. Like Amy Klein has a great book, and she was the one actually when I was shopping my book around, a couple of people were like, oh, we just heard about this book from this woman, Amy Klein. So her book was kind of the one and that was out there, which is great. And her book came out and it's awesome.
Yeah, she actually has been on the podcast. She's amazing.
I love her.
I love her.
So, I finally one day that's why I started the podcast, because the book wasn't happening. And then I was like, wait, why am I waiting for someone to green light this?
Yeah.
I can do it myself. So I talked to a friend who has a really successful podcast, and she hooked me up with her engineer and, told me what equipment to buy. And like a month later, it was like first episode was out, and it was like off the races. And now I've had 80 episodes and like over 200,000 downloads. And it just goes to show, as you've got a very successful thing going on. Like, people want to hear this stuff. They need to hear stories, and we can only help each other by sharing all the messy parts. It's like, God, I just wish that I had this when I was going through it, like all the stuff that's available now.
Yeah, totally. Same. I so wish. And like I said, I didn't have anybody to talk to. And so it was very frustrating and very lonely. Yeah. So
who did you go to? Like, did you ever go down like the Facebook rabbit hole or anything?
Not really, because Facebook wasn't really a thing 7 years ago. I mean, kind of, not like it is now. So I just would try to talk to my friends about it. And I just remember none of them were having kids. They couldn't relate. Either already had kids or they didn't want kids. And so it was just like this lonely, like internal, like, turmoil all the time. It's just crazy. Yeah.
It is so crazy. Yeah. And, it's, I remember just like crying, like sobbing on the bathroom floor. Like I was like in a movie and being like, I wish I could call someone, or like, and we both have like family and friends, of course, but it's like, unless someone's going through the exact same thing you're going through, they just can't, it's just not the right level of support. It's just not, they don't get it. Yeah.
No. So tell me a little more about, what's kind of the one thing that you wish you had known before all of this started?
I wish I had known about just general fertility as a woman. And, that's another like big picture goal that I've been talking to some people about, is trying to change curriculums and trying to come out with things for, my daughter's 11 and she's starting to think about, she doesn't want to think about it, but we're starting to talk about puberty and, what's going on with your reproductive system. And, I know a lot of people who are around the same age as me have said, we were taught, like, don't get pregnant. Like, it was the scared straight, like,
you have sex, you get pregnant.
You're gonna get pregnant. It's like, and then you're going to get your period once a month. But it was never like, here are your body parts and here's what ovulation actually means. And, there's so much that was just glossed over. And nobody had said to me, at 35, your egg quality is going to start diminishing. And again, I don't mean to sound like, woe is me, nobody told me. But, like, it's just, it is what it is. That's what I wish I would have known, because we wouldn't have waited, thankfully it all worked out how it did. And I have the kids who I have, so I wouldn't want to change that, of course. But I wish I would have known that, no, you shouldn't wait till you're 34 to start to try, because I could have avoided so much heartbreak.
Right. I completely agree. I joke about this all the time, but when I first started going through infertility, we're having sex. I'm thinking, you just have sex, you get pregnant. I wasn't tracking my cycle. I didn't know how to tell if I was ovulating. I didn't know about cervical mucus. None of it. I thought you had sex and you got pregnant.
Totally.
It's crazy. And I was like a 37-year-old woman. I should know this stuff. So
it's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if you experience this too, but when I'm like, I interview different people with different stories every episode, and at least once per episode, I'm like, I didn't know that. Like, I'm learning like new things every time. And it's, God, there's so much I don't know still. And I didn't know at the time. And it's kind of sad, actually. Like, I think we need to do better for this next generation of kids, boys and girls, young men and young women, and let them know, like, what's really going on. Because I think infertility is obviously much as prevalent as it ever has been, and it's only becoming more and more. And, I will say, on a little tangent, I think that part of it too was like, in Hollywood, like, it was like, I would look on the cover of Us Weekly and I was like, oh, Halle Berry's pregnant at 46.
Right.
Nobody talks about she used a donor egg and IVF probably.
About that. And a lot of people in the public eye weren't talking about how they had their kids later in life. It was just like, oh, she's pregnant and she's pregnant. And so I think that kind of made me think like, oh, if they can do it, I can do it too. Not knowing the struggle that was actually happening behind the scenes.
Right. So crazy.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about, you have some exciting projects coming up. So let's talk about that. So what is Fertility Rally? Tell me about
Fertility Rally. Okay. So everybody listening probably knows Blair Nelson, who's my business partner and my dear friend. She started Fab Fertility, which is, she started an Instagram account after she had a miscarriage and looking for connection. When I first started my podcast, she emailed me, and it was so funny because it was just like an unsolicited email and was like, I love your show. And she's like, my husband and I, can I swear on here or no?
Yes, we're explicit.
She's like, my husband and I have been through a fuck ton of shit. And then she listened, and I was like, ooh, I like this girl. And I like emailed her back. It was like, because she was like, can I be on your show? And I was just starting to try to find guests from all over the place. So I wrote her back and I was like, yep. So she came on my show. We totally hit it off. Then she was like, I'm going to start my own podcast soon. And I was like, awesome. So then I was on her show, and then we just became friends, and we realized very quickly the power of community and how we could help each other out. And we both had the common goal. Like, she was in the midst of her infertility and I was obviously out the other side, but we both wanted to help people, and we both wanted to, blast these stigmas and get people talking about this stuff. So we just started collaborating on some stuff. We did like a mutual Instagram takeover and just became really good friends. And then one day we were talking and we were like, we should do an event because, there's a lot of things, not a lot, but there's some things, happening out there, but a lot of them are very educational. And, we were like, we like to think we're pretty fun and funny. Right. And like, we want to celebrate this community in a way that hasn't been celebrated before. So we started brainstorming an event that was going to happen and is actually going to happen now next month, but this was like a year ago. And we're like, what should we call it? And we came up with the name Fertility Rally because we loved the connotation and like the double meaning of rally being that like rally to get, like a rally's really rowdy and fun, but you also rally together to like make a change, and then you rally behind each other to like lift each other up. So we thought that was a great visual. Like it really resonated with both of us. So we called it Fertility Rally. We immediately got like the Instagram, the website, the trademark name, because we're like, this is the name, we like it.
It's a great name. I love it.
Thank you. So we started just working on this, IRL event that was going to happen in October in Brooklyn. And then the pandemic hit. And so we kind of had to sideline those plans. And in the meantime, we had started throwing these like little happy hours, like Zoom happy hours and stuff. Because we had the Fertility Rally Instagram account. We started meeting people. So we're like, let's like do happy hours. And people really are longing for connection right now. So we did a couple of those and they went really well. And then we're like, wait a minute, we could turn this into like a 24/7 community. So we had an idea to launch a membership site, and we're like, I don't know why we thought we could do it by June 1st, because this was like in April, but we're like, let's do it by June 1st. And we found a web developer and we came up with our plan, and we worked pretty much around the clock. I'm not kidding. Like
that is a lot of work. Yeah.
There were days where we would be on Zoom and it was like 4 a.m. and we're both like crying and like, what are we doing? Why are we? And then we'd be like, let's go to sleep. We should go to sleep. And my husband, like our husbands would be coming in like, are you still on the phone? What are you doing? But we were both just so passionate about it, and we wanted to get it out there, as soon as we could. So anyway, long story short, we launched on June 1st, the Fertility Rally membership. And basically it's a community, it's a content hub, and then we do these curated events. So we kind of hit on a bunch of different levels. And our favorite thing is every Wednesday night we have a support group. So, and we always have a theme and a special guest. So, that's kind of one of the things that the members are really loving and saying, it's worth the membership alone just for the Wednesday nights, because it's like group therapy, and
right.
We have one tonight, which is going to be awesome. But yeah, so we did that, and then we did have to shift the Fertility Rally event to an all virtual event. So that is going to happen on the original date that we had planned, which is October 24th. Yay. And we have tons of great speakers, like, someone who might be on this call right now.
Yes, like me.
Yes, no, to be there. And we've got these breakout sessions that everybody can kind of do, like a choose your own adventure style, where you can come and, pick the sessions that you're interested in. But then we're sending all the attendees recordings after the fact, so you can go back and watch the ones that you didn't attend live. So it's actually going to be with 2 keynote speakers, Anna Victoria, who's like a huge fitness and CEO of the Fit Body app, and we have Samantha Bush.
I love both of them. Are just my favorite.
They're both infertility warriors. Everybody in it is, been touched by infertility in some way. We have lots of surprises, tons of giveaways, and then we have 2 panels. One is with REs in the morning, and it's going to be moderated by Karen Jeffries, who's hilariously infertile.
Yes, awesome. Love her.
We have an influencers and infertility panel in the afternoon. So we have Chloe Malas from CNN, we have actress Camille Guadi, and we have Sarah Larson-Levy, who's the CEO of Y7 Studio. So it's just going to be, and that's moderated by Jay Palumbo, who people in this community will know because she's a stand-up comedian and like a pioneer in infertility. Like, she's just been really vocal about her journey too. So it's just going to be an awesome day where people can get educated, of course, but also just feel really supported and hopefully walk away having had some fun and laughing a little bit and feeling really loved and because that's our whole vibe. Is like we try to bring levity to this wherever we can, because it's so shitty so much of the time. So it's like wherever we can inject the fun or the like levity, we try to do that.
I love it. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
I'm so excited. It's
so
I'm nervous.
Yeah, everybody listening, go get your tickets. We'll put a link in the show notes. You do not want to miss this event. It's going to be amazing.
Tickets are on sale now, and we've got a little VIP package because we're also going to be doing. We're ending the whole day with a happy hour for everybody, and then we have like a VIP after party and a virtual swag bag, and you can see all the different options on fertilityrally.com.
Awesome.
But yeah, I think it's going to be just a great day.
Totally.
We always say it's the worst club with the best members, and that's kind of what we're going to celebrate that day, is just that we've all been through some real shit, and a lot of people are still going through it, but together we can all get through it.
Yes. Amen. I love it.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about just a couple tips that you might have with somebody going through infertility. It can be around anything, just like what's some things that helped you when you were going through yours?
I think the first tip would be to find your people, which, we talked about before, that we both kind of had a hard time with it, but now it's not hard. You can go on Instagram, you can search for a specific hashtag of something you're going through. If it's PCOS, just enter that hashtag into your search bar, and all these different accounts and posts will pop up. And people are 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10 probably, if you reach out to them, they will respond to you. Like everybody that's out there and that's vocal about this truly wants to help everybody else. And also my second tip would be like, don't diminish your pain, because I think it's important to acknowledge it and deal with it. And that helps you to make space for, get rid of that space and kind of move forward. No matter what you've gone through, I think as women, we oftentimes, well, I only had 1 miscarriage, so I'm not really like going through anything, or I had a loss, but it was really early. Like, I'm like, F that.
Yeah.
Like, you had a loss and it sucks and it hurts. So I don't, and there's a lot of pain comparison and people will email me to be on my podcast and, well, my journey's not very crazy, so I don't know if you want me. And I'm like, that's not the point.
Yeah.
Who's got the craziest story?
Yeah, it's not a contest there.
It's not a pain contest, it's not a peeing competition. So I think, that's another piece of advice is just, if you are going through something, don't compare yourself to others and acknowledge that, like, even if you didn't get pregnant, you're still just not getting pregnant. If you didn't have, like, quote unquote, a tangible loss, you still are grieving what could have been. You're grieving your dreams. So I think it's just important to acknowledge that. And like I said, make space and hopefully that will help you move forward and get through it a little bit better.
I agree. I love it.
Women are so hard on ourselves.
Yeah, we are. Gosh, just let it go.
Yeah. My therapist would always say, take good care. Like every email, that was how she signed off, was take good care.
Oh,
I thought that was nice because it was like, we don't take care of ourselves enough.
No.
Sometimes. Yeah.
So tell our guests where we might be able to find you.
Okay, so a couple different places. So my podcast, like I said, is called Infertile AF, and it's on all the podcast apps. There's an Instagram for that too, which is Infertile AF Stories. So you can go there and you can see who's on the show, and you could read, quotes and listen to little clips. The podcast is obviously free. And then Fertility Rally, we have an Instagram, which is @FertilityRally, and we have the website, fertilityrally.com. So it's not just a membership site, it's a free site as well. So if you want to just dip your toe into it and see what kind of content we have, everybody is welcome. And people can always reach out to me anytime if they have questions about any of it. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yay. So tell us if you have any final thoughts, just some words of inspiration before we close.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you.
Yes.
I love what you're doing, and you're such a bright light in this community, and I mean it. You're so sweet and just so positive, but also real,
Oh, well, thank you.
So I just wanted to say thanks for having me, and final thoughts would just be, I don't want to say don't give up if you're on this journey, because I think it's important to also, if you feel like you want to give up, that's okay too. Mm-hmm. Like if you feel like you want to stop trying at any point, that's okay too. So I think there's always a lot of pressure on people, like, don't give up, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, which is great. I love that positive reinforcement, but I think it's not said enough that if you decide that you don't want to have children after all, or you're exhausted and you don't want to go on, like, do what's best for you, take care of you, and that's okay as well.
I love that, and I completely agree. It's it's your journey in the end, so do what works for you, whether that's keeping going or pausing or stopping altogether. I love that you say that. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Well, Ali, it was so nice to finally get to meet you.
I know.
love everything that you're doing too. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Back at you. Thank you so much. I can't wait to talk to you more in a month.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Until next time. Bye for now.
Hey, hang on just 1 second before you go. I want to make sure that you are aware of all of the amazing free resources that I have for you on my website at CoachKayla.com. From a fertility meal plan, a cycle syncing quick start guide, a holistic healing cookbook, as well as master classes, blog posts by me and some amazing experts in the fields of fertility, hormones, and nutrition. So many wonderful resources that will help you on your journey. And I wish there had been something like this when I was going through my 2 years of infertility, but there just wasn't. And so that's why I decided to create all of this for you. So make sure that you go and check it out and you take advantage of this plethora of support that I have provided for you. And spoiler alert, these were some of the same tricks and the same foods that I used to get myself pregnant, not once, but twice, even after my doctors said that I couldn't. So I know that these things work. Make sure you take advantage of that.
and I cannot wait for you to be my next success story. So thanks, love. See you soon.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. Check out the show notes for today's episode at CoachKayla.com. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and leave a review. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next week.